Hey guys, so I just wanted to come on here and do this little video here. Kind of an update or something I got earlier this year. Now I just showed you the sword, gave you more of a detail of what I got there. Well, I wanted to come on here, and I did a video on this before, but I wanted to, like I say, do an updated version as well to kind of remind you guys of something that I got that I've had my eye on for a while. And that, of course, was the PRANCE cards. These are the PRANCE cards that basically, I think Ray or something. I think the name is Ray. You know, they're one of the people responsible for them, and they got more versions of the PRANCE cards, not just the ones like are here, but they have different versions as well. That obviously they sell and stuff. And I do apologize if it's a little crooked. So yeah, but yeah, anyway, they have other versions that they sell, of the PRANCE cards. And what the PRANCE cards are basically the equivalent of basically the equivalent of a regular card game series that's inspired by the card game War. And the way it is, and I'll provide a link, a video link or something here at the end of the video. But basically, it's a card that it's basically very similar to War, to where basically you have to match up certain. Now basically you have to match up like certain cards and everything. So, or when like certain cards get put down and all that. So, for example, if like one card is like the highest ranked card gets put down, you can only put down one card to try to match it. And if not, then the person, but what it is basically is, let's say, in a regular card game of War, you put down the highest card, which is the ace, right? So you're basically told to, not you, but your opponents are basically forced to put down a one card to try to match it, and if they don't, then the person that put that high card down gets the card. So, like I say, if you put down an ace card, and then and then the opponent next to you decides, okay, or basically is now forced to match that card. If they don't put down an ace to match it, then you will win. Then that person that put the ace down wins the deck. So if they put down an eight of clubs, they don't win. The person that put down the ace wins. And that's kind of what this is. This is kind of what that is, of the equivalent of. So again, this is the war game. This is the card game basically. And what it is also is it's got different. What it is also, it's got different sets of cards that go along with it. You can sometimes order separately to help complete your collection, complete your deck. And I have some of them on me right now, and I'll show you those in a moment. But let's start with the initial pack here that I got. And like I said, I've had my eye on this for a while. And as we open it up, like I said, it's like a regular card game. And from what I understand, this was actually created through various various card site. You can make a certain version of the game, covers and everything. And that's what they did here, so that's empty. So here we have, a set of alicorn cards. So we have a set of alicorns. And the alicorns are basically like your aces. So let's say I put down, this is Celestia. So if I put down Celestia, then somebody's got to match Celestia with maybe a Luna, if you will. And if they match it with a Luna, then the next player after them has to match it with, let's say, a Twilight. And then the next person after them has to match it with a Cadence, if you will. And if they don't do that, then the dealer or the person that matched first wins the deck. So let's say, and I think that's the idea of it. So let's say I put down, Celestia, and then let's say I have my older sister. I get her into the game, and she puts down Twilight. Then okay, the next person after her, let's say it's my niece, her daughter, and then she puts down cadence, it continues until somebody doesn't match. So then let's say the next person could be my oldest nephew. He puts down Luna. Okay, it continues and everything. And then let's say somebody puts down Crystallis. Then my nephew would then win the hand. He would win the entire hand, from what I understand. He would win the entire hand, basically. Now, the other thing about this being very similar to War is you could slap in as well. You could try to slap in as well throughout the game. Even if you're not participating, you can slap in and basically get into the game and all that. Basically, it's a game of slap as well. So, you know, like when they're doing things like that, and it continues going and it continues going and everything, and just, you know, that and everything. You could try to slap. You could try to slap, but then, you know, it's basically very tricky because sometimes you'll do a false slap, sometimes you'll do a great slap and all that. So you got to be very, very careful with how you approach the game. You got to be very careful with how you do it. But from what I understand, basically, you know, there's a bunch of cards. These are a lot of the original cards that came with it. And let me see if I have the rules and all that on hand. I think I printed out the rules one time of the game. So let me see if I have that on hand here. I think I do. I'm not really sure. I printed out a lot of stuff. Here we go. Right off the bat. Always make sure to have something on hand, if you know what I mean. Got to be careful about how I walk here. See what I mean? You got to be careful about how you you walk here and everything. So here's the rules, and I'm gonna get my glasses for this, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Get one of my pairs of glasses. Okay, so put the cards over here for a second. This is basically a rule sheet that I printed out, you know, for it. This is a rule sheet here. And so let me look at this real simple. So here is the play. It says here, goal, be the player to collect all the cards in the deck. Well, that's simple. Well, that's obvious, I should say. It says the cards. Each card has two parts, a character and a symbol in the upper and lower corners. The symbols represent the theme of the characters. So what we have here is, of course, we have Alicorn, and then we have Villain, then we have what is it? I know it's in here somewhere. We have Parasprite, then we have Main 5, then I think we have Reform, if you will. We have Reform. Then we have background characters. We have music characters and all that. Then we have Cutie Mark Crusaders. That's all symboled right there. Then I think we have pies in here too. So we have pies. And then we have, what is that one? I think that's guards. I think, yeah, it's Royal Guards. So we have guards in here. I think, yeah, we have guards. Then we have Wonderbolts. And we have Shadow Bolts. The interesting thing about Wonderbolts, as they say, is when you play the Wonderbolt card, you got to be careful because the symbols are very similar, except the lightning bolt on the Wonderbolts is white with the black wings, and then here on the Shadow Bolts, it's a black lightning with white wings. So, got to be, got to be very, very careful about that, if you will. So, let me just show you that right there, if you can see it. You got to be very careful about that. Then, of course, you have OC characters as well. Now, what's interesting about this is, as you can hopefully read that there, what's interesting about this is it says shuffle and deal the entire deck to all the players. Players should not look at the cards. So in other words, it'd be like doing this. It's like you're shuffling, and then you're just handing them out like this. You're handing them out and everything. They don't see them until they pick them up or something like that. It says starting with the player clockwise after the dealer, and then continuing in the same direction, in the same direction. Each player turns a single card face up in the middle of the table until a power card is revealed. A power card is any card with a symbol of an alicorn, villain, main 5, or parasprite. When a power card is displayed, that means that a challenge has been issued to the player. The next player must try and meet the challenge by turning up a power card from their own deck. The player answers the challenge. The player answering the challenge will have 1 to 4 chances to meet the challenge, depending on the type of power card symbol. So, like I said, with the alicorn, which is this one right here, the alicorn symbol right here. With the alicorn symbol, basically that means you have 1 shot. So, like I said, so let's say I turn my deck over, and the first card I bring out is Celestia, right? So the player next to me, okay, so basically the player next to me, like let's say it could be my sister, my older sister, she has to meet the challenge, and by bringing up an alicorn, she has to try once. She only has 1 try. And if she meets it, then it continues. It continues on and everything. It continues on. I'm just trying to read the instructions here to make sure I get it right. Alright, and then it would go to the next player, like let's say my niece, her daughter, and let's say her daughter puts up an alicorn, it continues on. And then let's say my nephew puts up an alicorn, it continues on. Stuff like that. But then that's when it gets tricky, because there's only 4 alicorn cards in the deck. There's only 4 alicorn cards. So that means, let's say my nephew, he has Luna, and she's the last alicorn card, around, in the possession of anybody, and you have all 4 alicorn cards, down like this. They're all matched up, right? They're all matched up. But then let's say a villain comes out and everything. Then what happens is he will win that challenge. He will win the challenge. I think that's what it is. It says that the player does not turn over power cards, and the player who issued the challenge collects the entire pile of cards, placing them at the bottom of the deck. So, okay, so let me correct myself there. I said earlier that the person that, continues the power card deal, continues matching, would be the one that wins if the last person or the next person doesn't match. That is incorrect. According to the instructions, let's say I'm the one that puts down, like I said, like let's say I put down Celestia, and then my sister puts down Twilight, then my niece puts down Cadence, and my nephew puts down, Luna. Let's say my mom is next, and my mom puts down Crystallis, then I collect the cards. I would collect the cards, basically I would collect the cards, put them on the bottom of my deck. That's what I would do. So, it's very tricky. Like I said, it's a fun game. It's a game of chance and everything that, you learn as you progress. Now, continuing in, it says there are events in the game. The events there are 2 special events that occur during play. Mirror, 2 cards of the same symbol are stacked directly on top of each other. Hey Burger, 2 cards of the same symbol separated by 1 card with a different symbol. Slapping cards. When a mirror or Hey Burger happens, the first player to slap the hands on top of the pile collects the pile and places them at the bottom of their deck. This may not change, or they may not change the order of the cards as they do so. The player that won the slap then begins the next round by turning up the card from their deck and placing it face up on the table. Play continues clockwise. So in other words, let's say, here I have, let's say I have an OC here, right? So let's say I have an OC, and then let's say the Joker of Spike comes in, and then another OC comes in. Basically, you have an opportunity to slap in. If you slap, you get it, and then you start the next round. Now, if Spike's not in the equation, let's say, let me put Spike over here for a second. But let's say Spike's not in the equation, and it's 2 matches, you could slap in as well. That's the thing. So that's basically the gist of it. You could slap in if you match two cards of the same symbol, or if you have a card like, let's say, spikes in the middle of it, in the middle of these two cards, he's in the middle of it, you can slap in like that. Now, they do talk about false slaps, which is in here. You could read that if you want to. Now, they talk about false slaps. It says, anytime someone slaps the pile and there is no hayburger or mirror, they pay a penalty by placing the top card from their deck on the bottom of the pile. Play continues as if the false slap never happened. So in other words, let's say there is no mirror slap or anything like this, and instead, let's say it goes like 1, 2, and then let's say a shadow bolt comes on, and I try to slap. I can't do that. I can't do that because it'll be a false slap. It'll be against the rules, right? It'll be against the rules. So what would happen? What would happen is I would take my top card, and let's say my top card is Luna. Let's say it's Luna, and I would have to place it at the bottom of my pile. That's basically what a false slap is. It says slapping in. Anyone without cards may slap in when a mirror or hayburger appears, even if they weren't playing to begin with. In the case of a false slap, while trying to slap in, that person is no longer allowed to try and join the current game. So, for example, I was watching one of the Prancer matches that Dr. Wolf and his friends were doing at one of the conventions they were at, and Josh Scorcher, aka Firebrand, who is a master at it or an expert at it, wasn't playing at first. And as soon as a hayburger or a mirror happened, like as soon as basically, this happened, he went right into it, and all like, no, don't let him get in, because they know what would happen. They know he's good. So basically, that's the rule of it. That's basically the gist of it, really, is when you get down to it, if you will, it's basically, basically, when you get down to it, it's like I said, it's an easy game to learn and everything, but when you get down to it, it is kind of tricky because sometimes you'll get so into the game that you'll want to, like, let's say when a hayburger or a mirror happens, of course you're going to want to get those cards, but if it doesn't and you slap in, falsely, you get into the game. That's just an example of getting into the game and everything. Now, here's the thing. Let's go into the power cards here. So like I said, at the beginning, you have several chances to match up power cards. So for example, this is like your ace. An alicorn is like your ace. So let's say, again, as I repeated, if I put down Luna, then the person next to me, like say my older sister, she has to put down an alicorn as well. And if she puts down Cadence, okay, let's continue. And then the next person after her puts down Celestia, okay, let's continue. And then the next person after them puts down Twilight. Then whoever comes next, and whoever comes next and they don't have an alicorn, they put down Chrysalis. Then I, being the one that issued the challenge, would collect all the cards. That's pretty much it. I would collect all the cards. Now, what's interesting is a lot of these cards here are not necessarily any kind of power cards, unless maybe you want to, rule them as such. And that's the one thing about the game. You can rule them as such if you want to do that. Basically none of them are really. Let me get them in the view here. I do apologize if they were out of view. But basically, none of these are really like power cards unless you want them to be, if you catch my drift. And the same with the shadow bolts and the wonder bolts and the pies and all that. They're just, basically the ones that are not the power cards, those are the ones that are meant for like the hayburgers and the mirror slaps and all that. So, okay, so we know that the alicorns are like the aces. They're the only one slap attempt. So we got that figured out. But then when you look at the villains are a 2-attempt deal. So let's say I put down Chrysalis, then the next person has to match me by putting down 2 villains. So if that person has the Maniac and Nightmare Moon, then okay, it continues, right? It continues. So until the next person puts down a villain card, which could be Sombra. And other villain cards, I think they've been adding on to the deck as well. So that's basically how it goes. Like, the villain cards are 2 chances, if you will. I think that's how. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, the villain cards are 2 chances. Parasprites are 4 chances. So you put down a Parasprite, then the next person next to you has to match that Parasprite, immediately. They have to match that Parasprite immediately. So if they match them right away, then they get the cards. They win that. They win that automatically, just like with the villains. They put down Nightmare Moon, and then if I put Nightmare Moon down, and then the person puts down Maniac, they win that. They win that. They win that card. If you will, they have 2 chances. I believe they have 2 chances. Let me make sure again on that. So let me make sure. Yeah, have 1 to 4 chances to meet the challenge. So in other words, with the villains, you have 2 chances. Okay, you have 2 chances to meet the challenge. So like, again, you put down the Maniac, and then let's say you put down a Parasprite or a Pie or whatever, but then you put down another villain. Okay, you won. You pretty much have 2 chances. But if you don't, if you don't meet the challenge on 2 tries, then again, the person that issued the challenge wins it. So let's say I put down Chrysalis, and the person that's next to me puts down a Parasprite, and then another Parasprite. They win. They lose that challenge to me. But that also kind of opens up the whole mirror situation. It opens up the whole mirror situation as well. So again, it's kind of tricky. It's fun to learn and everything, and practice and all that. As time goes on. So with the villains, we know you have 2 chances. We know with the villains you have 2 chances to win. With the Parasprites, you have 4 chances. So if you get a Parasprite down, let's say I put this Parasprite down, then the next person next to me has 4 chances. So if they get like 1 Parasprite down, okay, fine, they win. They get the cards. Not a problem. But if they don't, and then let's say for example, they put Spike down, and then they put down an OC, I win that hand. As simple as that. That's basically what it is. So Parasprites give you 4 opportunities. They give you 4 opportunities to win. The main 5 give you 3. So let's say I put down Applejack. And everything. The person next to me has to match that, and if they put down a Fluttershy, okay, they win. But if they don't put down Fluttershy, and let's say they put down Spike, and then next they put down an OC, I win that. Basically, I win that round. I win that challenge. But if they, oops, did I put Applejack in there? Yeah, I did. Hello?
Oh, I'm at the gas station.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Nice, what a noisy car.
Yeah.
I'm at the gas station.
Okay.
Okay, stupid idiot. I don't know why these people like their cars that noisy.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to be putting my gas and I'll head on home. What's going on over there?
Nothing.
I got to check my velocity. I think they put more money. It's it's like one, maybe it's the rest of the retroactive. It's 1-200 something again.
Okay.
It's never that. My check's never that big unless that's a new amount, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless it's more than 40 out, maybe it's an extra day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look. Okay, and then I got to do my benefits. I got to check my benefits this week, Brian, see if everything is good. And then after we look at it, then it goes to the, you know how you have to recheck everything again?
Yeah.
And it goes to that page.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then in the final page, it's
I apologize for
10
this.
pages to look at.
Okay.
I'm not making no changes. I'm keeping everything the same.
Yeah.
But they want us to still sign. So to get to the sign, we have to go through the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you know what I mean? You had to do that, no?
Yeah.
On your benefit thing when you did Walmart?
Yeah.
You had to do something like. So it says, Debbie says it says sign your document.
Okay.
At the end. I don't even know if she finished hers. I know when Lillian was doing hers, I was helping her do hers. Then when she made the correction, she wanted to change something. Then it took her to the pages again, but to look through everything. You know.
Yeah.
Look. Okay, when she was done, you know how you check it.
Mm-hmm.
To that checking page, and all the pages come up.
Yeah.
And then it said, sign your document, and then I guess she signed, and then I said, oh, you got to sign. But she had to use the mouse to sign.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you sign on the phone? If you do it on your phone, I don't know how I would do that.
I don't know.
I do it on my phone. Huh?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think you type it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I told her, no, it was like, remember I had to do it last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think I don't know, I didn't make it, just checking it. And I signed, and it didn't look good. It looked all crummy. But then when you send it in, then when you hit it, it shows the actual name.
Yeah.
You know? But then you say finished. So you hit blue. It says a blue on the upper right-hand corner. She hit. I go, I guess you hit that finish signing.
Yeah.
Finish signing.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, congratulations, you have successfully something about your benefits. Finish your benefits or something. Check
Yeah.
your benefits. You know, I told her, I said, all I have to, I'm not making no changes. I just have to sign. But we have to do it by the 30th. But I don't want to procrastinate.
Yeah.
You know, because I got two DRTPs that I need to put notes in, and kids that came in later, and they're I think theirs are due on the 5th of December. And we're having a lot of, the health teacher actually is very sick. We don't know if she's got COVID. I don't even know. They don't know because she's been out for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the delivery person, well, we have the people that bring the groceries and meals. Melinda's mom passed away this week. Christy's brother, the one that does HR, her brother passed away from COVID this week.
Mm-hmm.
And Gloria, another teacher who's about my age, her mom passed away about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And nobody said anything. I didn't know something like that. Nobody said anything about hers. They should have said something. But when my mom passed away, I don't know if that was I don't know if anything was said. I don't think so. So get your headlights out of my face, dude.
Yeah.
Gosh, people parking back at me and their headlights hit right on my side mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Turn your lights off, you dummies.
Mm-hmm.
Those automatic turn-off lights, they don't turn off unless, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get my gas, Brian.
All right.
Okay. I'll see. I hate those headlights in my eyes. Okay. I'll see you when I get home.
Okay.
I got to have patience with people because people are rude.
All right.
Okay, bye.
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 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I do apologize for that. It's just that when she gets going, she gets going. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, what was I? Oh, yeah. And I'm going to leave that in, don't worry, because I want to kind of give you guys an idea of exactly what happens, you know, what I deal with sometimes living with family, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But anyway, like I said, with the main 5, you get 3 chances. So, like, let's say I put down Fluttershy, and then the next person next to me puts down Applejack, and they win that. So because, you know, they automatically matched it. They don't need any more chances. But, you know, if they put down Fluttershy, and then they put down Spike, then they need to try to match again. So if they match the second time around, then they win. So it'll be fine. But if they don't match either 3 times, then, you know, I'm the one that wins it. So let's say Fluttershy goes down, then Spike is the next one, but then, okay, they need to match, and then the next one's an OC, and the next one's an OC, you know, then I will win that round. I will win that challenge, pretty much. So that's basically what the main 5 are. That's basically what the main 5 are, if you will. So yeah, those are your power cards, basically. These are your power cards. So this one here, the alicorns here, they give you 1 chance. You got 1 opportunity, 1 challenge, 1 turn. The villains here give you 2. The Parasprites here, I don't know if you could see them. or anything. We'll pull them into view here for a second. Hold on. Pair of sprites here, they give you 4 chances, and the main 5, they give you 3 chances. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 chances basically. And I think they said you can make up rules as well. So like, let's say you want to take the reform villains and say, okay, that's going to be a 5-turn deal, then you could do that too. If not, then you just leave it regularly. But you know, the cards like the regular cards and everything, you know, they're basically, as I gather these back up, the regular cards are more along the lines for the they're mostly like for the you know, the mirror slaps or the hayburgers. So like, let's say, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I put down Discord, and then I put down Starlight as a reformed villain. Somebody can slap in, even if they're not in the game, they can slap in. But then let's say again, I put him down, put Spike down, and then Starlight comes in, someone can do it. But the tricky part is, let's say I put, you know, these guys down and someone does it, then that turn, then that person has to take, you know, the top card and put it at the bottom. So let's say Discord is the top card, he has to go to the bottom. That's it. And if you're someone that's not participating in the game just yet, and you false slap in, like let's say this match is like like these two are down here, and you slap in, or try to slap into the game, you won't be able to slap. You'll be disqualified. You won't be able to slap in for the rest of that current game. But if you see this, and you haven't, and you're not in the game initially, but you see this and you're like, okay, I want to get in the game. Boom, you slap in, you're in the game, pretty much. You know, just like that, as I match these guys together. You know, pretty much like that. So yeah, that's basically how it is. And they do say that with the Joker, you could try to make that work to your advantage. You know, the Spike card, you can make that work to your advantage. So, let's take a look at, excuse me. Let's take a look at the cards here, shall we? Got something in my throat. Let's look at the cards here, shall we? So with the alicorns, we have Twilight, we have Celestia. I'll get those where you guys can see them. We got Cadence, and we got Luna. Those are your alicorn cards. Those are your ace cards, if you will, the ones that give you one opportunity. As I put them right there. Your villain cards, we have Chrysalis, we have Nightmare Moon, Maniac from Power Ponies, and Sombra. Those are your kind of like your king cards, if you will. They're your 2 chance cards. Your 3 chance cards, we have the main 5, which is Fluttershy, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity. Those are your 3 chance cards, like your queen cards, if you will. And then your Jester cards, if you will, are your Paris Sprites, which give you 4 chances to try to win a challenge, and if not, win the game. Now, for the rest of the cards, like kind of like your mirror, the cards that would give you mirror opportunities or hayburger opportunities, whatever, reform, and they're categorized as well. We have reform villains, we have Discord, Starlight, Sunset, Trixie. So they're your reforms. Background ponies, we have Berry Punch, we have Derpy, Muffins, Dr. Hooves, Lyra, and Bon Bon. So those are your background ponies. Your music ponies, we have Countess Coloratura, Octavia, we have Sapphire Shores, and DJ Pone, Vinyl Scratch. Put that to the side. Then we have your CMCs, we have Apple Bloom, we have Scootaloo, and we have Sweetie Belle and Babseed. So those are your CMC cards. And then here we have the pies. So we have marble. We have mod. We have marble, limestone, and we have the mother, Ignis pie. I think that's her name. I'm not really sure. So we have the pie family. Then we have the guards. We have shining armor, flash sentry, regular guard, and a bat pony card. So, or a guard, if you will. Wonderbolts. We have Spitfire, Soren. Can't think of their name right now. So we got them. And then we have the Shadow Bolts, which they say you have to be careful of because of the symbols. So we have the Shadow Bolts. And then we have, of course, the OCs and Spike as well. Trying to make sure these are all in order so I don't mix them up or anything. Okay, we got the music ones. We got the Reformed Villains. I think. So we got the backgrounds, we got the Reformed Villains. I want to make sure I got everything here. And then we got all our power cards right there. So that's pretty cool. So that's the initial deck. That is the initial deck that comes with the PRANCE cards when you get them. And everything, and you can get them at Sky Railroad. That's pretty much the name of the place where you can get them at, but it's not the only place. Oops. You know, it's not the only place you can get them, but they're not, because they're not the only cards. Now, like I said, they also sell extra cards as well, some accessories, if you will. So here we have some other cards as well. These are like ones you can buy separate. And it's the business card, Sky Railroad and everything. You can find them at DeviantArt as well. Got a nice thank you there. And then it gives you a miniature version of the rules for the game. So the extra cards that some of the extra cards that they have that I purchased are Reformed Villains, Tempest Shadow, Music card, Rara, the real name, the real persona of Countess Coloratura. And then we have Kieran cards. These were some of the newer cards they put out. So we have Autumn Blaze, one of her companions. We have the Queen, basically the Celestia of the group, and then we have the Phantom of the Opera Pony. So, those are cards you can buy individually from Sky Railroad if you're interested in them. And I'm pretty sure with Gen 5 out, they'll probably be adding some new cards to the decks as well, so you can probably play those when you feel like it. But, again, it's not the only place you can get cards, because if you go to Lightning Bliss's store, because she has one online, Lightning Bliss's store, she sells cards as well of herself, Elf, because believe it or not, some of the established Brony Pegasus analysis and reviewers of the show of My Little Pony My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, that have been doing it for quite some time, have cards of their own. So Lightning Bliss has a deck So here's Lightning Bliss, here's Twink, here's Thunderblight, and here's Euphoria. Euphoria is a fusion of Lightning Bliss's OC and Aeon of Dreams OC. So yeah, you can get cards from her as well, which I do recommend if you really want to complete your deck and everything down the line. So yeah, that's pretty much, though, guys, a little bit of an update of what the PRANCE cards are all about. And I do apologize if this went over and it's going to be probably edited into 2 parts. I do apologize for that. I really do. But I just want to come on here, like I said, give you, basically an updated version of what the PRANCE card game is like, and what you have to deal with and everything. It's their own take on the war game and all that, and it's one that I highly recommend you try out if you ever go to one of the pony conventions down the line. Try it out with friends, family, and all that, and you might find out that you enjoy the game. Again, it's tricky. It's easy to learn, but it's tricky to play, because sometimes you'll get so into it that, as the rules say, you might do something that will cause you to have to take your top card and put it at the bottom, or basically disqualify you from getting into the game initially like you wanted to. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are down below. I'll try to provide a link to where you can get this as well. Comment if you, like I say, comment if you like. Live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Go to BW Rose's discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also check me out at BW Roses on VENMO. Also check me out at BW Roses on Patreon to donate there, as well as on Venmo if you want to help donate there as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and that's about it, guys. So until next time, I will talk to y'all later.